Good morning and welcome to the beginning of what could be an interesting day. Hopefully it's a pleasant one. Hopefully things work out. I'm right in front of my hotel here in Sumatra, and I'm in the town of Tanjung Balai. This is the Malahayati Hotel. And here in Tanjung Balai, they have a ferry, the Indomal fast ferry, that goes back and forth from Sumatra to Port Dickson in Malaysia. That's the only city that they go to. They don't go to Malacca or any other city. So yeah, and the dock is about 8.5 kilometers from here, and I'm getting to the dock on my bike, of course. I'm bringing my bike with me this time back to Malaysia. There it is. I'm doing something a little bit different with my packing this time. I actually took a bunch of luggage and put it into a separate bag, which is inside the trailer. So when I get to the dock, I take that bag out and I check it in as a separate bag. And then I'm putting my 2 pannier bags inside the trailer along with the 2 wheels. I normally give it to them with the wheels attached, but they don't seem to use them anyway. They don't roll it around, they just pick it up anyway. So I'm going to remove the wheels this time. Anyway, so I've got some repacking and organizing to do when I get to the dock. But there it is. Yeah, in the grand scheme of everything always breaking these days, my light won't stay on. Yeah, I haven't used this in a long time. I just use it as a flashlight. And the day that you really need it, of course, is the day it just won't stay on no matter what I do. But I do have a little headlamp as well. So anyway, 8.5 kilometers, got to get moving because there's like a million mosquitoes.
Like, you want to go to Pelabuhan?
Yeah.
This night?
Right now, yeah.
What time is it?
3:30. Yeah. They say be there at 4 o'clock. Empat jam.
Ke Malaysia?
Malaysia. Yeah.
From ferry?
Yeah.
Are you yourself sendiri?
Sendiri.
Alone?
Yeah, sendiri. Yeah.
Oh. Where are you from, Canada?
Canada, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, from
Be
Canada.
careful, sir.
Thank you.
Be careful.
Yeah. And out of nowhere, my light suddenly came on. It doesn't really illuminate the road ahead of me very much. You can just see a little bit of light there, but it's more about being seen than seeing the road. Yeah, well, I was standing there chatting with those 2 men a little bit. It was amazing how many mosquitoes were flying around inside my room at the hotel there. It was just filled with mosquitoes. The bathroom window, the screen is all torn up. So the mosquitoes come in through the bathroom window into the bathroom. And then if you happen to leave the door open, they pour into the main room from the bathroom. And I was thinking it must be just a weird room, has, I don't know, mosquito central or something. But then when I was sitting there just taking video of my bike and talking about my plans and then chatting with those men, we were both overwhelmed by mosquitoes. It was crazy. So in terms of the day, yeah, the challenges to be overcome. Getting to the dock, 8.5 kilometers. Nice and cool though. It's not raining, which is amazing. Can you imagine doing this if it's pouring rain? Rain makes life so much more difficult. And I've done this before. I've gone to this dock by bicycle and in a private car, like the owner of the hotel would drive me there in his car. And I've taken Baychak there. That's always the most fun way to do it. So this is nothing new, the trip out to the dock. But it's a bit of a challenge. The road gets quite rough as you get out near the fish market. And the next challenge, of course, is just navigating the formalities. You have to pay for a port tax. The first time you do it, it's a bit confusing because you don't know where to go or what anybody's talking about, but I know the system now. And then I'm hoping to be able to upgrade my ticket from economy class to VIP. It only costs about $3 US. And when I picked up my ticket, unfortunately, the ferry company didn't reserve a VIP spot for me. So I got a ticket, but they said the VIP was all sold out. But there's still a chance that when I get to the dock, I can just upgrade. So that's my next challenge, hoping to upgrade. It's always amazing to be out at 3:30 in the morning and you see a bunch of teenage boys in a video game place, still playing video games 3:30 in the morning. It's always interesting to see the world when you think everybody's sleeping or should be sleeping, but no, there's a lot of people still out and about. And the next challenge will be, getting through immigration here. That should be okay. Today is actually the last day of my visa. So if I don't get out today, then that's going to lead to complications. And what else? Get through immigration, then get on the boat. It's about a 5-6 hour boat ride to Port Dickson. And then there'll be a challenge on the other end, getting through immigration to get into Malaysia. I had a bit of an issue last time where they paid special attention to me and they didn't seem very happy that I'd been going in and out of Malaysia so often. But nothing came of it, and I was allowed into Malaysia last time, so I'm hoping for the same luck this time. And there's a group of young guys having coffee at the Stay Coffee. Never seen that before. And a friend of mine and good friend to the Planet Doug YouTube efforts, KY, is going to be meeting me in Port Dickson. And he may even have arranged for a place for me to stay for a couple of days. I have a few videos from Sumatra I need to finish up. It would be nice to stay in Port Dickson just for a little bit. Get those videos finished, and then continue cycling around Malaysia. Oh, so there, my bike light went out. I do have a headlamp as well if I need it. So if I get into a dark, really, really dark street, I can always put on my headlamp. Yeah, I'm really going to miss this place. I like it here a lot, but they only let you stay for a certain amount of time according to your visa. And now that I'm cycling away from my hotel, I better do a mental check that I have my passport, yes, all of my important papers and documents, I know where they are. I have all the documents I need on all of my smartphones in a special folder. So in case anyone at the dock or immigration asks me to produce a copy of my visa extension, passport photo, tickets, whatever you need, I've got them all pre-prepared on all my phones. A lot of thought and preparation goes into even a simple little trip like this. And this is where I turn. Yeah, it's nice and cool. I was worried that riding my bike to the dock, I'd arrive really hot and sweaty, and I will. By the time I get there, I'm going to be a bit sweaty, but not as bad as cycling during the day. I brought my bike to a scooter washing place and just asked them to just hose it down, get all the dust and dirt off of it. And they do a nice job and they polish it up a little bit. But when I returned this time, the guy showed me a message on Google Translate apologizing and saying that my bike fell over. He said there's a high wind blew it over. I don't know what that means because there was no wind at all. And it'd take a pretty powerful wind to blow this bike over. But for whatever reason, the bike fell over and it smashed the mirror, my rear view mirror, which I depend on heavily. But it looks like I can still use it. There's only one crack right through the middle of the mirror, but it still works. All I really need to see are the headlights of any vehicle coming up behind me, and the mirror still works for that. Yeah, see if I push, I thought if I push the button on my headlight, it will turn back on, at least briefly, but nope. There we go, there's my headlamp. It's just nice to be able to see if there's a pothole coming up or broken glass or a nail. I don't want to deal with a flat tire right now if I can help it. So yeah, this headlamp is going to be very handy. And I have a red flashing light on the back of my bike so people can see me. Yeah, it looks like these guys in this Baychak are going around to all the garbage piles and scavenging. I've noticed a lot of people that are doing bike touring and shooting videos, they're not even trying really to mount their cameras on the bike handlebars anymore. It's pretty complicated and difficult to rig something up, so all they do is occasionally hold the camera in their hand like I'm doing right now, and then operating their bike with their other hand. The American hobo, he's shooting video with a Pocket 3 camera, and you can't really mount that on the handlebars. I think he tried once, but it just vibrates way too much. And it's such an expensive camera, you don't want to risk that anyway. So he just does this all the time. Whenever he wants to film, he takes out his camera and he holds it in his hand while he rides. And then he can turn it around. These are the guys scavenging. And then he films whatever he wants to film, and then films himself. And I guess it works if you don't really mind this bit of awkwardness and controlling your bike with one hand. He had a funny thing. He bought a brand new bicycle, or kind of a refurbished brand new one. And then when he bought it and rode away, he discovered that the brakes were switched around. Hello. I have no idea what that was all about. But you do get a certain energy this time of the morning, late at night. People, yeah, energy levels for certain types of people go pretty high. But yeah, this is me with my headlamp on. But yeah, he discovered that his brake levers were switched opposite to what he wanted, because he holds his camera with his right hand like this, but then he needs to hold on with his left hand, so he wants his rear brake lever to be on the left, that he can operate it with his left hand. But it happened to be the front brakes were on his left hand. So he brought the bike back to the shop and asked them, hey, can you flip them one side to the other? And then they did. But anyway, I'm about to put my GoPro away. Yeah, look at all these people still awake. Hey. It's almost like to really experience a country or a city, you should make a deliberate effort to just go out at 3 o'clock in the morning and wander around, just to see what's going on. It's a whole different world. Yeah, I've talked a lot lately about how local people often don't know as much about their own city as you'd think they would. So, for example, one of Tanjung Balai's claim to fame is the ferry to Malaysia. It's a big deal. I mean, there's only 2 cities in all of Sumatra that has a ferry going to Malaysia like that, going to either Port Dickson or to Malacca. So yeah, it's a big feature of this city. And yet, when I talk to a lot of local people, and they ask me, oh, what's going on? Where are you going? What are you doing? And I say, well, I came here to get the ferry to Malaysia. And they have no idea what I'm talking about. It's like, what do you mean? So no, here, there's the ferry that goes to Malaysia. And they'll never have heard about it, even though they grew up here. And then the man that I was chatting with this morning briefly, he didn't really have my full attention because I was focused on this trip to the ferry terminal and my bicycle and preparation, so I wasn't really paying attention. But he was very, very surprised that I was going to the ferry at 3:30 in the morning. And it's like, oh, that's normal, because they want you there at 4 a.m. and the ferry is scheduled to leave, I think, at 7. I'm not sure why they want you there 3 hours early, but I try to do that anyway because I like to have lots of time in case something goes wrong. But he knew about the ferry, I think, but he was totally surprised that it left so early in the morning and that you had to go there at this time of the morning. So again, it was something he was completely unaware of. Making progress. This is the bridge across the river. Not the main river. This isn't the Asahan, but it's a river I've got to get across. Yeah. And then we cross the railroad tracks, and then we turn left, and then we follow the shore of the Asahan River all the way to the terminal. Huh, that's the Indomal fast ferry van. I'd never seen it before. Because yeah, I didn't remark on it, but on this road, we rode right by their office. And I guess you could go to their office and then they will pick you up there in their van to take you to the dock. I tried to do that one time. I was being super, super organized. I stayed in a nice hotel right downtown, very close to the ferry dock, or as close as you can get. And then I arranged for the Indomal van to pick me up. I was like, wow, this is like a life of luxury. And then they completely forgot about me and they never came. So they never put my name down on the passenger manifest or whatever, and nobody showed up. But today I have my bicycle, so I don't need them. My front brake is squeaking. It's probably from the guy who washed my bike. They polish everything, and I've only done it once before, I think, but there was so much polish everywhere. These are the railroad tracks, by the way. That I went over my entire bike with a rag. to remove all the polish, or as much as I could remove, because I think he even put it on the rims of the tires or the wheels, put it everywhere. And yeah, but I forgot to do that this time. I didn't wipe down my bike. So here's the main road heading out to the ferry terminal. It's quite a busy intersection during the day. And they often have men here directing traffic on a kind of paid volunteer basis. But here we are. Got another 4 kilometers, I think, from here to the ferry terminal. Yeah, running a bit later than I'd like. I wanted to be there by 4 a.m. because I still have to unpack everything and repack. I'd like to give myself as much time as possible, but should be fine. They say the ferry leaves at 7 or 6 or whatever time it is. And then it's usually, I mean, every single time I've taken the ferry, it's been 1 hour late. So if they say it leaves at 7, it actually leaves at 8, etc. It's never left on time that I can remember. So if I showed up at 4 a.m. as I planned, I'd have 4 hours there at the dock until the boat finally left, which is a bit excessive, but hey, I always have ways of keeping myself occupied and entertained. I have this particular departure feels quite complicated because I'm bringing my bike and all my luggage, and it's the last day of my visa, and I'm shooting video for YouTube. Everything feels a little bit complicated, more so than normal. So I keep having this feeling like I've forgotten something, but I go over and over it in my head, and I think I'm okay. You have to fill out the Malaysian digital arrival card online within 3 days of your departure. I did that yesterday. That went fine. And yeah, my visa extension is good right up until today. Didn't really have to do anything else. For Malaysia, you don't have to get a visa in advance. If you're from Canada, you get a 90-day entry stamp at the border. Got my ticket. All my phones are charged up. I have a friend meeting me at the dock, and I have mobile data for both Indonesia and Malaysia, which is a little bit complicated to do. I already have a Malaysian SIM card and phone number, but of course, I had no credit and no data since I've been here for 2 months. That all expired and ran out. So somehow I had to put money onto my Malaysian account and use that money in my Malaysian touch and go account, transfer it to my Malaysian SIM card, the email, the mobile internet provider, and then use that money to buy a data package. So I did all of that yesterday so that when I land in Malaysia, or even as I'm approaching shore on the ferry, I'll get an internet connection and then I can communicate with my friend. But it's a complicated thing to do. You have to remember to do that. And I ran out of all my Indonesian data and credit as well. So I had to get just at least 2 more days of data to cover me the last 2 days for this trip to the dock in case I need access to the internet. But yeah, here's another bridge going over another river. This is a big landmark for me because I've ridden my bike here so many times. There's the river. You can see a little bit of lights from a couple of boats, flashing lights. It's kind of cool. So yeah, despite the complexity of this trip, or what feels like a complicated trip, I think I've taken care of everything. Dotted every I, crossed every T. I'm just now entering the fishing dock area. And so far the road is a lot smoother than I remember. Like, did it get paved at some point and I never noticed? Because I'm accustomed to like banging and crashing and bouncing up and down all the time. And yet so far it's been pretty smooth. I had another piece of technology problems. My Rode Wireless Go microphone receiver just died. So all the time that I was cycling to here and talking on camera and telling stories, none of that got recorded, just dead air. So maybe I did a voiceover, maybe I deleted all of it, who knows. I'm fine. How are you? Yeah, unless I'm on the wrong... I'm okay, thank you. Unless I'm on the absolutely wrong road, it's in a lot better condition than I remembered. Huh. Yeah, the ferry terminal should be just up ahead. The Indomal fast ferry van, the passenger van that picks people up at their hotels, I saw it earlier, and I thought it would have passed me by now, picked everybody up and then zoomed past me on the way to the dock, but I haven't seen it so far. So I guess they're still picking up passengers or waiting for them. So here's the entrance to the ferry terminal. The gate there is up ahead. I don't know whether I have to pay to go through on my bicycle. I'm not sure. It'd be like 5 or 10,000 rupiah. Yeah, this is what I'm accustomed to the road being like right here. This part is how it used to be the entire way. Huh. Anyway, and then another challenge is going to be getting through immigration on the Malaysian side, all the formalities there. And then a friend of mine, KY, and a strong supporter of my humble Planet Doug YouTube efforts, he offered to come meet me at the dock, and he might even have arranged a place for me to stay in Port Dickson for a few days. Hello.
Hello?
Ferry in Malaysia?
This is motorcycle?
No, sepeda.
Sepeda.
Yeah, sepeda. Bicycle. A little bit.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. So that was an unexpected challenge. You have to go through the gate, but he can only raise the gate if somebody pays. And he asked me, it's like, oh, is that a motorcycle? If it's a motorcycle, I have to pay. And I said, no, it's not a motorcycle, it's a bicycle. But then he didn't know what to do. He was flummoxed. It's like, well, I can't raise the gate. So we had to figure out whether my bike could fit underneath the gate, and it just barely fit. I had to lift the gate a little bit. And here's the terminal, ferry terminal. Yeah, pretty busy place even this time of the morning. Got all these little restaurants on the riverside here, already bustling. And I know from experience that to get my port tax, I've got to go over to this shipping container over here. They've turned it into an office.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Thank you very much.
So there it is, Ferry Terminal, and this is where, at the moment anyway, this is where you get your port tax. It's like 100,000 rupiah or 95,000. It's a little bit unclear whether you pay at the window, go in the door. Sometimes there's a guy just standing out there with a handful of these things, and you just give him 100,000 rupiah, and he gives you one. So let's navigate through the front gate.
Masuk. Masuk. Yang bocah siapa? Hah? Nasa. Minta fotokopi paspor kamu ya, sudah.
There's my boat out there. I haven't gone through immigration yet. It's not open, so we're just waiting for immigration to open. And this is a small waiting room up here. And looking at my face, I can't tell just how sweaty I am, but I know I'm a little bit sweaty. Though things worked out pretty well. I did a lot of planning yesterday about transforming my trailer into a duffel bag, and that means taking the wheels off and putting them inside the bag itself, which is pretty easy to do once you've got it all figured out. But by the time you're done unhooking everything and putting everything away and zipping it all up and locking it up and then carrying the bags in and rolling the bike in, yeah, you start heating up. You get a little bit sweaty. So, and then yeah, I paid. My bicycle plus all of my luggage came to 187,000 rupiah total. So I'm not sure exactly how much the bike was as a separate fee. I think from out of Malaysia, it's like $5 or something like that. So probably close to 100,000 rupiah here just for the bike, and then 87,000 for the rest of my luggage. And yeah, and then it turned out to be absolutely no problem to upgrade to VIP class, which I guess it shouldn't surprise me, because as I said, the office here in Tanjung Balai for Indomal is a very haphazard sort of operation. They don't seem to know what they're doing. And it turned out that showing up here, they have a whole bunch of seats, VIP seats, reserved for people to come and get it at the dock. But it didn't occur to anybody at the Indomal office to tell me that. They just said, oh, all the VIP seats are sold out. They're all sold out. They're gone. And they said, well, maybe you can get one at the dock if somebody canceled. But when I said to someone here, like, is there a chance I can upgrade to a VIP? And they're like, oh yeah, for sure, I've got lots of them, no problem. You just go to that desk over there. There's a guy there on a computer. I gave him my ticket and passport, and he 50,000 rupiah, and he upgraded my ticket to VIP class. And it seemed like, yeah, it was like a standard routine thing to do, and yet nobody at Indomal told me that or seemed to be aware of that. They basically said, no, you can't get VIP, they're all sold out. So they don't even seem to know how their own operation runs. But anyway, yeah, I think that's the end of my stories, and now we're just waiting to get on the boat. Yeah, got through immigration, no trouble. It always goes one of two ways with immigration. Like I have my, oh, this is a different boat. This is the Indomal Empire. Nice. I think it's nice because it has a much bigger outer deck. You see there? So it's a lot easier to go outside. The other boat, the Indomal Regal, the VIP section is huge, and there's only a tiny, tiny outdoor deck. So this is a completely different boat. But I was just saying that I had a 30-day visa on arrival, then an extension, and sometimes I'll have everything prepared. I have everything, I printed out documents and I hand over a copy of my visa extension, and they look at me like I'm wasting their time. Like, oh, we don't need that. We have it all on the computer. So this time I didn't make any printouts or anything. I have it on my phone, but no printouts. And then the guy was looking at my passport, and according to my passport stamp, I'm 30 days overstayed because my extension is not in my passport, if you see what I mean. So now he's looking at my passport. Oh, you overstayed by 30 days. I says, well, no, I got a visa extension. So, oh, can you show me? So now I was in the position where I had to show him the documents for my visa extension. Other times they say, oh, we don't need that. We have it all on the computer. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Anyway, it all worked out in the end. Very friendly exchange. I showed them my visa extension digital copy, my PDF on my phone, and that was fine, and I got stamped out. So time to board the Indomal Empire.
Canada.
From Canada. Terima kasih. And they have a system here where you have to identify your bags before you get on, and then they load it. There's my bike. Very excited about that. Right over there. Hello.
Hello. You have a bag?
Hmm?
You have a bag?
These two
This?
and
two?
the bicycle.
Okay.
Yeah. That's
Come on,
fine.
please. Come on.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes. Ini dua. Kok? Ini tuh. Ada standby apa sih kok? Sumpah?
Okay. Thank you. Second floor. Yep. So this is economy class. I've shown this before. And I mean, it's comfortable, really. There's really no problem at all with the economy class. And the air conditioner, you can feel it already. It is blasting. It is so cold down here. Yep. VIP up there. And these are all the meals. I guess everybody gets a meal. I was never sure whether it was only VIP or everyone, but everybody gets a meal, and they provide water. And there's the front area. Yeah, you need to wear a jacket. You know, ideally jacket, sweater, long pants. I brought my sleeping sheet, so I bundle myself up in my own sleeping sheet. Oh yeah.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Yeah, I remember this now. Oh, so cold up here. It's freezing. Man, if I didn't have my sleeping sheet, I'd be in big trouble. Just like, as I just wore shorts and a t-shirt to ride my bike here. And yeah, they have some tables, like some seating with tables. And I don't know whether whether I want that or not. I'm not going to be setting up my laptop or anything. But I think having a table is a good thing. I am notorious for always picking the wrong seat. If you want to see the shoreline, like as we leave, then you want to be on this side of the boat. I don't like to have the TV right in front of me. I mean, for me, I suppose this would be the best seat, right? I can see ahead through the window and out that window, and I get a little table. Yeah. And I'm far away from the television screen. If you want lots and lots of leg room, there's your choice. But then you get people crossing in front of you all the time. and you'll be staring right at the TV screen. But yeah, there it is. Oh no, that's, yeah, the Indomal Empire. Yeah, I think in terms of leg room, it's the same. This one or this one. Yeah, I think this is my seat right up here. Why not? It works out really well for me and for the local people, because I think for the typical Indonesian, this would be the worst seat, because they want the TV screen. They want to be able to watch the movie. And I don't really care. I have my tablet with me if I wanted to watch something. In fact, I am going to watch something. The first 2 episodes of Alien Earth are available, so I'm very excited about that. I've actually already watched the first episode, and it was excellent. I was so impressed. Starting off very strong, so I'm probably going to re-watch the first episode to get back into it, and then I'll watch episode 2. So I've got that lined up. And yeah, I mean, VIP class up here. Yeah, because on the Indomal Regal, the one with a bigger upper deck, there's so many more people up there that there's a real crush on the bathrooms too. It's really hard. There's always people waiting for the bathroom. But here, all this seating, there is one set of bathrooms up here, toilets up here. But I think the pressure is not as great. So, yeah, so far, you know, fingers crossed it stays this way. So far, this has been smooth sailing. Could not have worked out better or easier. And look at that. I get to look right out the front window and out the side window. Very cool. And there's the rest of the VIP section behind me. So glad I managed to come up here. As you can see, I'm all bundled up in my bed sheet, trying to stay warm. It's so cold in here. Yeah, you really need to be wearing long pants and a jacket. Everyone else here is better dressed than I am, but since I rode my bike here, I couldn't really put on heavy clothing. But started filming because we're leaving. I've never seen this before. Like all those people there watching the boat leave, they must all be relatives, friends of people on the boat, perhaps going to work in Malaysia. I've never seen that kind of send-off before. Maybe it's always been there and I just never noticed, but I don't think so. But yeah, all those people waving goodbye. And there's the ferry building. It's still one of the, it's quite an odd building. It's so poorly designed for what it is supposed to be doing as a building. I'd like to know why it was made the way it was, but yeah, and here we go. We're actually leaving a little bit earlier than normal. The boat generally leaves an hour to an hour and a half late every time that I've ever taken it, but today we're leaving 25 minutes late. So departure was 7, but we're leaving at 7:25. So yeah, we're ahead of schedule technically, according to what normally happens. Yeah, and I know this area quite well. I've taken a lot of video of all of the fishing boats docked at the side here. And yeah, actually this morning was kind of interesting. It was still dark when I got on, of course. It was like 5 a.m. when I got on the boat, like 2.5 hours ago. So something like that. Maybe it was 5:30 when I went through immigration. But anyway, it was pitch black out on the river. And while I was just sitting here looking at the window, like flotillas of fishing boats were coming in from the Malacca Strait and just going upriver. Like groups of boats, like 6-7 of them together at a time, would steam upriver and then veer off to go dock and unload their catch, I guess. And I've never seen that many coming in all at the same time like that. It wasn't like just an occasional boat. It was like a lot of boats coming in big groups. But that was fun to watch, all the boats coming in.
Tenang, kru ferry akan memberi panduan kepada anda. Ketika di dalam air, paut terima kasih di atas perhatian anda. Untuk keterangan dan maklumat lanjut, sila ajukan. Telah dialihkan terlebih dahulu semasa turun dari ferry nanti. Anda tidak dibenarkan merokok.
Biasa dompetnya di kaunter tempat pembelian tiket. Di dompet tersebut ada kartu.
Telah dialihkan terlebih dahulu semasa turun dari ferry nanti. Anda tidak dibenarkan merokok, membawa haiwan dan tiket anda. Beri ruang kepada penumpang yang ingin ke tempat duduk mereka. Sekiranya berlaku kecemasan, alat penggerak kecemasan.
So yeah, here's some more fishing boats at the side. I'm hoping I'll be able to recognize one area because I rode my bicycle out here. Not this area in particular, or was it? Where did I go? I'm trying to see if I can recognize any of the docks because I went out here on my bicycle because I knew about all these boats here and I just wanted to check this neighborhood out. This is the first time I'm seeing it from the river after I visited, so I'm wondering whether I'll recognize anything. I recognize the mosque. Yeah, I rode my bike past that mosque. There's like a parking, yeah, I was actually right by those trees. I rode my bike into the parking lot for the mosque. Yeah, I recognize that. Yeah, and they do serve you a type of breakfast. Most of the time, I've just eaten the rice because, yeah, like if it's a fish like that, that's just it's too much work for me to like chew through that, all the bones and then the veggies and everything are in these little plastic bags that are really hard to open, and I just end up making a huge mess. So I tend to eat just the rice and I leave everything else. Yeah, these are fascinating communities, these fishing villages along the river. You pass by quite a collection of fishing boats, old and new. Like this collection right here, very cool. So there aren't a lot of landmarks on this trip. Leaving the dock, coming up the river, all the fishing villages, and then we get to this town, Bagan Asahan. You can see it out there. I rode my bike out here as well when I was staying in this area. And towards the other side you can see some very large boats docked there, and that's mainly where I went. There's a large dock. I was always curious about what happens over there, and I got to see a big fishing boat being unloaded while I was there. That was a lot of fun. And then I rode my bike along the shore and went out to a lot of these smaller fishing docks where people live. But yeah, this is Bagan Asahan. So we passed by this town, and I can show you on Google Maps where we are. So there's the blue dot, of course, that's us, and Bagan Asahan on the left, and then after that we go out into the Malacca Strait, and then it's basically open water for 5 hours, 6 hours until we get to Port Dickson. So after we come up this river, it's pretty much just open water from this point on. Might see a couple of fishing boats. As you get closer to Malaysia, you start to see large cargo ships, oil and gas ships, things like that. But yeah, for the next 5 hours after this place, it's going to be mainly open water. So here is the outer deck, the amazing outer deck of the Regal Indomal. No, this is the Indomal Empire. I get them mixed up. The Regal or Regal. It has a much smaller outer deck. This one, the Empire, has the big one. And yeah, I don't have my wireless mic hooked up, so I don't think the audio is going to be very good. But there's the there's our wake. According to an app, we're traveling at around 50 kilometers an hour, 45 to 50 kilometers an hour, somewhere in there. When you're driving in a car, 50 kilometers an hour doesn't feel that fast, but when you're on a ship like this, it feels like we're going at light speed, really, really fast. So yeah, there's the boat. A lot of people suffer from seasickness. I find that Indonesians are very prone to seasickness, like any kind of motion sickness. So I think a lot of the women that you see, they come out here because when they're sitting inside, they start to feel really sick, and they come out here. It feels better out here for them. Today it's not very rough today, so it's okay for me. Still going up and down. And I just had an interesting conversation, assuming my microphone is getting my voice here. There was a man beside the door when I came out. I started chatting with him, and I didn't realize it at the time, but he works on the boat. And in fact, he is the chief engineer. And I learned that he actually lives on the boat like all the staff do. I wasn't sure about that. But his day begins in Tanjung Malai, gets on the boat, and they go to Port Dickson, and then they stay there. The boat stays there overnight, and all the staff, they sleep on the floor of the boat. Like, they don't have any rooms here, but they just put a sleeping bag and a thin mattress on the floor, and they sleep on the floor. And then they wake up tomorrow morning and the boat goes back. So one shift is 2 trips. One trip to Port Dickson and then a trip back again. And he lives on the boat the whole time. And he said in Port Dickson, he can leave the boat for 2 hours, according to the rules of his boss at the job. So they can go into Port Dickson for 2 hours. Looking back at the wake again. And because he's the chief engineer, he makes more money, I think, than the other staff. He said he makes like $900 a month US. It's about, he said 10 million rupiah per month. But yeah, that seemed pretty high to me. And then I realized he's the chief engineer of the ship, so he makes a bit more money than the ticket sellers and the regular staff. Yeah, it's gorgeous out here today. Beautiful, beautiful day. Canada.
Oh, Canada. Thank you, thank you.
Back in my seat, and wow, even a short trip like that out to the back, the outer deck, and then into the bathroom, like managing to hold on when you're out there, you really need to develop your sea legs really fast. You know, saying that the water is pretty calm today, but we are being thrown from side to side, and yeah, it takes a lot of strength to move around on a boat like this, especially if you're not used to it. So I can imagine like an elderly person or someone with mobility issues, they wouldn't even be able to get up out of their seat even on a ferry like this. They would just be slammed into the walls and things. And the door there has sort of a safety latch, you know, like a big bar. You have to lock it in place, and then once you open that safety latch, if the wind catches it, that door just whips open, can throw you off your feet. And then I'm trying to maneuver, like walk around the outer deck there, and if you're in between the handrails and you're trying to navigate an open space, I mean, you just go flying all over the place. And then I figured, since I'm up and moving around, I'd better pop into the bathroom there. And then inside the bathroom, you kind of lose your balance even more, because now you're inside an enclosed space and you don't have the visual reference of the horizon anymore. And then all you know is your world is just suddenly tipping all over the place, and you go bouncing off the walls. Just getting to the bathroom and back is like a major adventure. You want to stay in your seat. It's the safest place to be. But yeah, here's the view from my seat. Really beautiful. There's been a lot of clouds, like partial cloud cover, and then sometimes you'll get this sparkly, when the sun comes out, you can see the sparkliness on the tips of the waves. There's the view out the front window. As I said, once you leave the river behind, this is basically your view for the entire 5-hour journey. Bit of a trip update. It's almost 11:30, so we've been sailing the seas for 4 hours, from 7:30 to 11:30, yeah, about 4 hours now. So we're heavily into Malaysian waters now, and one way you know you're sort of leaving Indonesia behind and moving into Malaysian waters is the appearance of these huge ships. And I've been scouting that one up ahead of me. That's the Yang Ming. Look at the size of that beast with the containers on it. I was hoping we were going to pass it like on our left, like we're heading straight towards it. So I don't know whether we're going to have it on the left and get to see it up close. It looks like it's going to pass on our right, unfortunately. But we'll see how it goes. So another hour, maybe an hour and a half to get into Port Dickson. Then it usually takes like nearly an hour just to get off the boat. At least it did. Oh, it looks like we are going to pass it with that ship on our left. We seem to be veering towards the right a little bit. Oh no, now we're heading towards the left. We'll see what happens. Quick trip update. It's been 5.5 hours on the high seas and getting closer and closer to Port Dickson, and fired up the GoPro just because we got another of these massive cargo. This isn't as big as the other one, that Yang Min ship. That was huge, but we didn't get a close-up look at it. But here's another big one, One Atlas. They're amazing, those ships. I've been seeing all kinds of these ships, and I started wondering why the building portion has those arms sticking out on the right and the left. You see that on all of these boats. Like, it's almost like there's a little apartment building on them, but the building has two arms sticking out to the sides, like curving up from the bottom. I have no idea what their function is. But that's Port Dickson up there. You can just make out a cluster of white there. I think that's the shore of Port Dickson, all the buildings. But yeah, that section that juts out to the left and the right, it's got to be a name for that. I don't even know what you call like the structure on a big ship. It looks like a little square apartment building. It would be perfectly square with a flat face, except it's got those arms sticking out to the side. And the only thing I can think of is the obvious one, that some sort of communications array is in there, like it serves as an antenna. But it seems like a pretty massive structure for an antenna, so I have no idea what those are. I'm going to find out later on. So it's 3 o'clock Malaysia time, which means 2 o'clock Indonesia time from when I started. And we're just now getting off the boat. There's the immigration building over there, the ferry terminal. And they've got this long platform. I haven't seen my bicycle go by yet, but they bring out these big carts with wheels and load all the luggage there. And yeah, I'm just waiting to see my bicycle go by. Now comes the the tricky part, immigration. Let's see what happens. I'll report back when I'm on the outside of the building. I said I'd be back after immigration, but of course I have to show a little bit of the outside world as we arrive in Malaysia. Beautiful day. Could not ask for a more beautiful day. Don't really know what's going on with that island. I've never figured that out. Never been out there, of course. But here's the long walkway. And here is the boat. Looks so much more impressive from the front like this. The Indomal fast ferry. I'd love to see it moving, like to see it from the front, exactly what it looks like when it's moving along. So for my money, this is the one you want, the Indomal Empire, the Indomal Regal. For me, when you do VIP class, is not quite as comfortable, but yeah. Really nice journey to get here, very enjoyable. And normally when I get to the front here, they sort of see me, dumb foreigner that I am, and they usher me to the front of the line. Because the local, like, these are all Indonesians coming here to work, and they can be a little bit slow going through immigration, and they know I'll just be a dumb tourist, so they say, just come to the front and let's deal with you and get you out of here. Let's see how it goes. So here I am, back in Malaysia, just outside of the ferry terminal building. No real issues going through immigration this time. I don't have my usual GoPro mounts set up. I removed them in order to pack up my bicycle and trailer for the boat. So I have a GoPro here aiming straight up at me. But yeah, all put together. Though they definitely put my bike through some rough treatment. It's kind of a rule of thumb that your touring bicycle suffers far more damage when you're taking a boat or a train or a plane than when you're riding it. Hello.
Oh, hello, Mike.
Nice, bro.
But yeah, I've got a trailer hitch on the back of this bike, and it's a piece of solid steel, very strong steel, and it has to be in a good alignment with the trailer tow bar. So it was all perfectly aligned when I dropped off my bike at the port this morning. But when I got it back just now, the whole thing had just like spun all the way around. So at some point it hit something hard, like it really jammed against something in order to move like that. Hello.
Hi.
Hi. So yeah, and the fenders seem a little bit bent. They're not quite as aligned. I've already pushed them back into place, but yeah, when you box up your bike and put it on an airplane or a train or a bus, they just beat the crap out of it. And then even on that ferry, suffered a little bit of
harsh treatment. Yeah, it feels odd to be riding a bicycle here. I got so accustomed to the flow of traffic in Sumatra. This seems so odd. But a friend of mine is on his way down from Kuala Lumpur. He may have arranged an inexpensive place, a convenient spot for me to stay in Port Dickson for a few days. I just have a couple of videos from Sumatra to edit, so I'm going to hang out here for however long it takes to finish up those videos and then move on. But my friend KY is coming down. And then we'll head off, see if we can find this room that he's talking about. Some friends of his might have a space, not in a house or anything, I don't think, but it's some sort of a event space where they might have a little corner I can call home for a few days. Yeah, going through immigration was fine. I had to answer a lot of questions, and sometimes it's hard to tell the difference between somebody just being curious, like when an immigration officer really just wants to chat. Oh, where are you from, and where are you going, and how long were you there, and how did you get from A to B, and how do you plan to get from B to C, and asks a lot of specific questions. You feel like it's like an interrogation, of course, because they're an official, but then they could easily be just being friendly, curious about my situation, who I am, and why I have a bicycle, and what I was doing in Sumatra for 2 months, that sort of thing. Yeah, it's always hard to sort through that. And here is Port Dickson. Beautiful Port Dickson on a beautiful day. I was thinking about getting something to eat, but since KY is on his way down here, thought maybe I'd wait. Maybe he wants to go out for dinner somewhere. So I'm just going to get a cup of coffee. There's a Starbucks right on the waterfront, sort of just around the corner. I have not had a good cup of coffee like that in a long time. At least it feels like it's been a long time. So I'm going to treat myself to a Starbucks cafe latte. But so far, the bike seems to be working okay. Brakes, gears, so just a few things knocked out of alignment. There wasn't any serious damage, which is good. Every time I go through a ferry terminal or a train station or an airport, I break my glasses, like my reading glasses. I forget they're around my neck, and I grab a piece of luggage and hold it to my chest. Like I pick it up and hold it, and without realizing it, I end up crushing my glasses and breaking the arms. And every time I think to myself, okay, don't do it this time. Don't break your glasses. Be careful. And sure enough, as I was putting my bike back together, I noticed that my glasses were all broken again. I do it every single time. That's so funny. I just heard someone shouting like a greeting, "Hey boss," and I instinctively look and wave in return because everybody shouts hello in Sumatra, and it's always directed at me. But it turns out that guy, he was just shouting to a friend of his. People in Malaysia are more accustomed to foreigners like me, so seeing a dumb white dude on a bicycle is not such a big deal here. Okay, so I was just doing, I have no idea if this is going out into the world or not. I was just trying to remind myself how in the world you do a live stream, and it's all very, very mysterious. Apparently I was successful doing it. I've got everything set up and I seem to have a live stream going out there, and I set it to unlisted, so nobody should be able to see this. The funny thing about doing a live stream is even when I get it set up and it's working, I absolutely have no idea what I did. Like, I follow the right steps in terms of you have to set up various Wi-Fi networks and hotspots and this and that using the GoPro Quick app, but in the end I have no clue what I did. But apparently it's working. So that's it. I just wanted to do a quick test. Now I don't know how to turn it off. How do I turn off a live stream? Oh, okay, I guess I could go back to the Quick app and I hit the stop button. The day isn't quite over yet. I met up with a good friend KY and Planet Doug mega supporter, helping out the Planet Doug YouTube channel whenever he can. There's KY.
Hi.
And he has found a place where I can stay in Port Dickson. So we're on our way there. A very special room. I haven't seen it. I have no idea what it's like. There's like a friend of his has a events center hosting, you know, banquets, weddings, any kind of big event, and I guess they have a room, a couple of rooms, I don't know, but I'm going to be staying there for a few nights here in Port Dickson. But, neither of us has seen it, so we're heading over there now. And I just realized it's actually Saturday today, so there's actually a lot of activity here in Port Dickson. Families come down here for the weekend, and yeah. You can see all the, this is sort of like an event center right here. People rent out the whole place for a big group. So we're heading to his friend's event center. See how that works out. Should be very interesting. So, yeah, could you take this in your car? Yeah. Be very gentle. Precious laptop is right there.
All right, I'll see you there.
Yeah, meet you over there. Cool. So KY has his car. He drove down from Kuala Lumpur to meet me here. And we're heading over to the place now. Of course, I've got my bike with me still. So here's my beast of burden. Just have to unlock it and find my way to this place. Another adventure. So just for fun, before I ride over there, let's walk my bike through this waterfront area. Get some of the flashing lights. You can rent all of, oh, this looks like a little bit of a train being pulled by a 4x4, a quad. And I guess you can rent those electric vehicles over there, or maybe they're foot powered. There's the PD waterfront sign. The whole area kind of caters to families, so you see a lot of these shops selling kites. That looks like a good kite. When I was in Sumatra, I noticed that a lot of the kites that the kids were using didn't actually go up unless they ran as fast as they could. But as soon as they stopped running, the kite would just fall to the ground. But these look like kites that if you had a long string, they would climb up and up and up and up. You should buy like 100 of these and bring them over to Sumatra. Kids would go crazy for them. And they sell these bubble making devices. Yeah, a lot of people come down here just because it's nice and cool with the wind coming off the water. Yeah, Port Dickson on the weekend. So a little bit of nighttime Port Dickson, riding through the streets. And I think if we can get access to the room now, because there's an event going on right now, So we sort of have to quietly and politely make our way through the event to find the room that I'm renting. And then KY and I might go out and look for something to eat before he heads back to Kuala Lumpur. This is one of the more odd aspects of Port Dickson, I find. They've got this one really long strip mall on this side, and then it has the same strip mall on the other side. And it's really just a parking lot. But because of the way the town is put together, this parking lot has ended up being kind of like the main road in and out of the town. So you actually get regular street traffic because, yeah, this basically serves as a road. And as you can see, with all the cars going through here. And like most places in this part of the world, to navigate from one side of town to the other, you've got to go through some one-way streets. It takes you a little bit out of your way until you figure it all out. But yeah, on the weekend, the town really comes to life. You can see there's a market over here that opens up on the weekend. That's like basically a food court that you can see over there. Outdoor food court.
That's right.
Hey. And here's one of my favorite places in Port Dickson, the restaurant Paklang Kopitiam. That was a home away from home for a while when I didn't have any Wi-Fi at my home, and I would go there to have breakfast and use their Wi-Fi. Yeah, I find Port Dickson has a lot of charm. You have to meet it on its own terms, but it's kind of a cool place. Remember, there's a YouTuber from Kuala Lumpur, a foreigner, quite a well-known, popular YouTuber. He came down to Port Dickson in a car, but he didn't really time it that well, and I guess he showed up here in the middle of the day on a hot day, on a weekday, like a Wednesday or something like that. And of course the whole town was empty and there was nothing going on, and he kind of drove through the town, looked around and thought, well, what's the big deal? Like, why does anybody come to Port Dickson? There's nothing here. But as I said, you kind of got to meet the town on its own terms to really appreciate it. Spend some time here and its charm slowly becomes apparent. There's the police station directly ahead of me, and the events center is across the road from the police station somehow. To figure out how to track this place down. This is actually the road to the ferry right here. So this is where I was not long ago. I just came out of this road on the left from the ferry dock. And I see a lot of lights and I hear some music from a place right over there. That's probably what I'm looking for. Yeah, I'm sure it is, but I'm not sure how you get in. Maybe you have to go in this way. Ah, yes, this is it here. It's the name of it, the Tanjong Astacona. Yeah, this is the one. There's the sign. So, yeah, right beside the ferry terminal. Yeah, there it is, wedding and event space. I think it might be new. I met this man and his family that runs this place. He's a friend of KY's from many years. And I think when I met him, they were in the middle of planning this place. like doing the design and the architecture. And now they're open for business. Could be a wedding. So, you ready to do this? Go to a wedding? We're now,
Crash into a wedding.
yeah, we're wedding crashers.
Not me, but I'm gonna talk to someone.
Yeah.
Hold on a second.
KY knows everybody in Port Dickson in one way or another. I just hang back here for a minute?
Yeah, you can.
Okay. So the room is a little bit complicated. It's like the man who runs that business, right now we can't get hold of him, and it's unclear which room would be my room, and the huge wedding going on, so we're basically killing time until we can contact the owner and figure out where I'm laying my head tonight. And KY knows Port Dickson very well. This is his hometown, and he really loves these tom yam places. So we drove around and found a tom yam place that was still open, and yeah, one of these neighborhood spots, and we're gonna have something to eat. Order has been placed, just a basic fried rice of some kind for me, and
Nasi goreng kampung.
nasi.
Goreng kampung.
But yeah, it's like sort of like knowing the name of it though doesn't help me ever understand what it is.
Well,
Like-
it can be, it's like a word that I present to you, and next time you will hear the word again.
Yeah, but I still don't know what it is. Like,
Nasi goreng fried rice, kampung village.
I know that, but I mean, maybe it has lobster and all kinds. Who knows? Like, I don't know what nasi goreng kampung is, right? So I get into trouble that way all the time. In other countries, I'm trying to order, and I'll say, "What is this?" And they'll tell me the name of it, but the name doesn't help me understand what it is. I need to say, well, that's fried rice with egg and veggies and this. Oh, okay, now I know what it is. So, but yeah, they got this huge traditional menu up on the wall there. But I always run into this issue too, where when you ask for a menu and then you go through the menu, every item you point at, they'll say, oh, we don't have that. And then you go to the next one, oh, we don't have that one either. And you ask for like 5 different things. And then finally you have to turn it around and say, okay, well, what do you have? They say, well, we have this. And I, okay, well, I guess I'll have that because it's the only thing they have. But we always have to go through this long routine every time. And I think that's one of the reasons I always end up with a very simple diet, because I find one restaurant, I go through this communication exercise once to get the meal that I want. So we don't never have to do it again. I can just always go back to the same place and get the same meal. So at every restaurant, I have one meal in that restaurant, and I never change my order, and then we never have any confusion after that. I'm already chewing because the food has started to arrive. I don't know if I really understand nasi goreng kampung yet, but it's basically just nasi goreng with a bit of chicken and some anchovies. I don't know whether other nasi goreng also has anchovies or whether it's only in nasi goreng kampung. Who knows? But there it is. Just a simple plate of rice, a little bowl of soup. And you call, what did you call these? Ah, I knew about those from before. Kerapo. They're just fish sticks? Yeah, kind of a fish sticks. Right there. And KY has his veggies.
It's a dish of veggie with some meat.
How is it?
Eatable.
Edible. Cool, cool. So my room at the event planning, or the event celebrating place, the wedding place, isn't available yet. So we're down here at the waterfront. It's about, what time is it now? 9:30?
9:30.
About 9:30. And
9:35.
yeah, check out the crowd here. We're like standing in the wind with all the bubbles heading in our direction.
Family outing.
Yeah, I walked my bike through here before we went to the wedding place. And I commented that they have these really nice kites there that fly really, really well. Because all the kids in Sumatra were flying kites, but none of them would fly very well. They're like really bad design. They really want like that. They would love to have those kites.
Those kites are from China.
Yeah. Huh. But yeah. Yeah, it reminds me of Independence Square in Kuala Lumpur.
Oh yeah.
This is what it looks like at night
It is.
on the weekend. The same toys, the kids with the shooting them up in the air. They don't seem to be going as high though. The ones in Kuala Lumpur, when they shot them, they went way, way up. Huh.
That's what the wind.
I don't know. Just different design, I think. They're just not, these ones aren't as good. Yeah, there's KY. There he is. Yeah, KY and I came down to the waterfront just to relax.
It's a new portion of
Yeah, we were way up the shore down by the main waterfront over there, and then KY was looking in this direction thinking, is that a boat? Like, is that a fishing boat or something? And then it's a brand new set of buildings. Like when I was here in Port Dickson last time, none of this was here. This building and this building over here, this whole, whatever you want to call this, balcony or, yeah, all of this is brand new because it's right over here is Zeus Coffee. That's Zeus Coffee. And then there's a bar, coffee shop and bar, restaurant over there. They have a live band on the weekend. I wasn't recording earlier because they were playing all the hits, all big recognizable pop songs. So I couldn't include them in my video, but the band is taking a break right now. So I can shoot a little bit of video. But yeah, Zeus Coffee. I forget the name of the bar over there. And yeah, brand new buildings right here. No idea what it's going to be eventually, but they've got the skeleton of the building, but nothing on the inside. And this is the sidewalk, the brick walkway alongside the river. During the day, you see a lot of fishermen here, set up underneath these trees with little tables and lawn chairs, and they've got big lines cast out into the water. Can't see much on the GoPro though. Low light, no low light capability. So we're back in the play area, the carnival. Oh yeah, so that one went really high. Wonder if it's a different type or they just know how to shoot it better. There goes another one. Huh. Yeah, when I was a kid, I loved kites. That's why I talk about them all the time. I used to fly kites all the time. There's like a industrial level bubble making. That guy really knows how to shoot them. Boom. He's probably selling them. That's why he knows how to do it. The great adventure continues. The wedding that was going on seems to have wound down. The last few guests are leaving, and KY has gone off in search of someone. Yeah, he's taking care of all the arrangements for this, so I don't really know who he's talking to, or this room will be a complete surprise. I was just joking with the KY that I don't think the room even exists. So I'll be surprised if there is a room here at all. We shall see. I have my home sweet home for tonight anyway, and I might normally document unpacking and moving in, but I'm so tired. It's been a really long day. It's been actually over 20 hours door to door from where I started until here. And yeah, when you have a life like mine, you do end up in some unusual places for the night. And this is one of the more unusuals, because like I said, this is a wedding banquet hall, and this isn't a hotel of any kind. This is just a friend of a friend said they had a room that I could stay in, and this is the room, and it's not exactly set up for people. But they moved in. This is my favorite part of the room, because the air conditioner, for whatever reason, just doesn't work, and there's nothing that can be done about that. And they brought in this giant fan that used to be here, but it went off like a jet engine with no cover on the front, like it's gonna slice your fingers off, and it was so loud you couldn't even think. So then they went out and they brought this in for me, and I guess it's some sort of a, from the 60s maybe, judging from this control panel, a fan and maybe dehumidifier, I'm not really sure. Swing, speed, you know, who knows what all it can do. You know, based on the size of it, you could probably take that to the moon or something. And it does have like a bathtub over here, which doesn't look like it ever had any fittings. It was just sort of built and then abandoned, I think. I'm not quite sure. And then there's the bed over there. And there's no curtains over the windows, so we're trying to rig something up, but I think I'm going to try and work on this myself, just to, because with the windows open right now, there's mosquitoes are going to come in, so I'm going to try to cover that up from the inside so I can close the windows. Just that with the cement walls like this, there's nothing there's no wood at all. You can't screw anything in, you can't put in hooks, you can't hang anything, so I'm not quite sure how I'm going to put up curtains, but anyway. Yeah, after a long day, I'm happy to be anywhere, really. So here I am. So I guess I'll wind up the day now. That'll be the end of it. All the way from Tanjung Balai. When you have one of these travel days, I've often talked about this. It is kind of astonishing when you think back to where the day began, because already waking up in Tanjung Balai and getting on my bike and riding to the ferry dock, that it feels like that happened 10 years ago, or like 5 days ago or something. And yet you think about it, oh, that was this morning. That's where I woke up. And then you had so many stages to the journey. It really feels, yeah, like quite something. But anyway, here I am. And now I'm going to unpack and see if I can settle into this room. So that's it, shutting down, and as always, I'll see you in the next video.